Just going to refresh the YouTube page until it shows we're live.
All right.
Hasn't taken this long before.
The system's tipsy.
It says we're live. Let me one more time. Come on now. There we go. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Lucky Ocean podcast with Cleanup, and we have Jamie on. This is Jamie on's from Tipsy Turtles, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his project. They have some animations that they show on Twitter. I think y'all do one animation a week?
Yeah, it's actually 2 right now. So the vision is, in the lead up to Mint that, we'd up the ante. So we release 2 episodes a week at the moment, but on a regular basis, it's 1 a week.
Nice. And I might let Clean talk a bit more than usual. I have the flu right now. This is like the first day that's starting to get a little bit better, but I'm a little out of it, so I do apologize. But how you doing today, Clean?
Oh, feeling good. This last week's been kind of like a whirlwind or whatever with Ada Shuffle being shut down, because all the coin situations going on with who was it? Good Dev or something like that. Lovely Dev, and what happened there. So I've been that's kind of squelched the flame a little bit for my betting behavior on Ada Shuffle. But I did still have like a balance inside the wallet for there. So I did a crash like a couple times or whatever and played. And now the balance is just sitting in there because I can't cash out or I can't deposit either. It's just they're doing an audit. So yeah, that's been kind of crazy. And then obviously meme coins going off and stuff like that. And obviously with Omen is probably like another big holding of mine. So other than that, I mean, same old.
Yeah.
Jamie, what about you?
Yeah, brother, it's been a bit of a hectic week for myself. We've had like tons of meetings. We did, to give you guys even color, we said that we wanted to do like tons of outreach. Over the last 2 weeks, we've actually reached out to probably 140 different people. So my Discord is wrecked at the moment, as you could imagine. But I mean, apart from that, it's all good, brother. Happy to be here with you guys. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, anytime, man. I wanted to talk a little bit about that whole bet thing. Like while I was, streaming, we were up, like a 2x on our 28 or whatever we put in. And I was having way too much fun. And that was my first time actually playing Crash or like any sort of bet. I don't bet or gamble. I just know myself. I know that it won't go well. Oh. And I loved it too much. I'm sure if you saw the stream, I was getting into it unlike a lot of other things, but I went back and I played more with the same amount of money. And I lost it all very quick. But it's fine. I only put in 20. I knew myself. And I said once I lost it, I wouldn't go back. But I just want to let people know, like, you saw me win, but I didn't win. I lost. It's not. I said it's not safe. Right. That was how I phrased it to my brother. And he was like, it is safe. You just lost. And I was like, it's not safe. So that's all I got to say about gambling. Stay away. But Jamie, I'm going to let you kind of do like a summary for people who don't know about Tipsy Turtles. Why don't you kind of explain like where it started and where you want to take it?
Oh, for sure, man. So our first post was actually not too long ago. It was around December 4th. Effectively, like the project, we're an animated series for the Cardano NFT scene is how I like to put it to people. So you can think of it like this, right? And we've already done the work. We've produced 36 episodes using over 20 characters from the community. So think your favorite, profile picture projects, everything or everyone from, Chill Kongs, Space Buds, Claymates, Dirtbirds, the works. We effectively have like our 2 main characters, Ted and Tony the Turtle, interacting with, the rest of the community. And the setting is by the beach. If you've ever watched the episodes, or if anybody here has ever seen it, you can maybe go and watch it over on Twitter. It's Tipsy __turtles. When you see it, you'll basically get like an idea of what it is. So just think about, our characters vibing with the other communities' characters. It's quick, 12 seconds long, punchy. Some cases it's commentary. Some cases it's just like, what would I say, overly exaggerating certain concepts. So yeah, we think we put together a pretty neat little animated series, something to entertain the timeline. That's a bit different or diverse from your normal FUD activities. So yeah, man, if you're interested in some nice content, you can head over there and watch the show. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, do you want me to show the intro, like the 1 minute video that y'all created?
Bro, that would be beautiful, man. Give the people some context.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so over on Twitter, they have, this is their pinned tweet, and this is actually pretty cool. So I'm gonna share this. Oh wait, can y'all hear it? Let me turn on volume.
Yeah.
Oh, you can hear it. Cool.
No, I can.
Cool.
Probably need a little volume.
Let me see.
Yeah. There we go. I'll be watching your facial.
Somewhere on
Clean. Have you seen it?
Cardano, 6,200 CNF turtles just washed up to shore. The man them tipsy up. FUD. I was going to say FUD. Oh, Jesus. We don't know what happened or how it happened, but these guys are having too much fun. People, Cardano now go good again. Grab a drink. You're going to need it.
So yeah, that's the introduction to Tipsy Turtles, man.
Yeah,
that was
funny.
That was hilarious. When I first saw him like kind of coming up on shore and then like just peeing and taking a dump everywhere, I was like, I know what to expect.
Yeah.
They seem
I had a feeling that, say again?
Do they have a drinking problem? It seems like, Tipsy Turtles,
Correct.
and then the tomfoolery involved, with drinking and other things like that. That's cool.
So the idea is for them just to be tipsy, but sometimes they mess about and I guess have too much to drink, and then that's the scene that we saw. Those kinds of things can happen, like if you overdo it. So yeah, that's the idea. You're correct. They're a drinking bunch.
Now, so you guys, what I saw on there was like not an advertisement, but kind of like a sponsorship through Trip Hut. Can you tell us a little bit more about like what's your plan with that, or like what you want to do?
Oh, for sure, man. Let me first say this though, and I love when I get to watch people react to the trailer, and I love the reactions that we get from people, because in a sense it validates like what we're trying to do. We're an entertainment play, right? So we're trying to have it be a case where the timeline can have an alternative to have some fun. You know what I mean? And that's what a lot of the PFP projects are really about. So I'm happy, Clean, and Nick, I saw you guys' facial expression. I'm like, yes, this was the intention. But yeah, to get into your question now, brother. So Tripod, right? Or the brands that you see there. All right. Let me start with Tripod. So it's an entertainment play in the truest sense. And what I like to do is maybe use like an anecdote so that people can have what to compare it to. But all right, so think about Disney, right? And think about what it is that they do, or why it is that, let's say, Disney World was a success. Effectively, they made characters and built real connections between the characters and the audience, and then leverage that connection, right, to create experiences that the people would then buy. So effectively, like the relationship between Tipsy Turtles and Tripod is very similar between Disney, its animation studio, its animations, and Disney World, for example. So Tipsy Turtles is like the animation. It's meant to like amalgamate all the characters across like the ecosystem for something that's pretty ambitious that's coming down the line that we're entering into stages, which is Tripot. So Tripot, right? It's similar to Disney Vacation Club, but this is how I describe it to people. It's a travel club and DAO that sends its members on free or discounted vacations. And your ticket to enter that DAO, like your membership pass, is owning a Tipsy Turtle. So if I may, just to maybe even like paint some, I guess, give you even more color. So think of it like this, right? I'm not sure how familiar you guys with stuff like Project Catalyst, for example, right? All right, so there's a round, there's a fund. The first thing that we're going to do to like bring it all on chain, we're going to do travel grants, but it's going to be managed by a treasury and dispersed via smart contracts. So that's the first leg, travel grants. Right after mint, a portion is going to go to a treasury that will share, and then once a month, the community is going to vote. Let's say you clean. Let's say you say, "Ah, man, I've never left where my country in my life. I'd love to see, what the Dominican Republic looks like. Guys, vote for me. Send me on this trip." If you win, and it's up to a maximum of 1,800 USD, the ADA equivalent. If you win for that round, part of the funds, pocket money, goes directly to your wallet, and the rest goes to a travel agent that would cover, booking, airfare and, a 2-night accommodation, for example. But yeah, in Jamaica, we say anywhere it Margaret Pop. So that's the first thing that we do. We're heading into audit in February with Anastasia Labs. We're basically out of development now, just doing some tidying. And we hope to launch that in Q2 after we launch the Tipsy Turtle. So right afterwards, there's some action. So not to go on for too long, but that's what Tripot is. A travel club and DAO that sends its members on free or discounted vacations, and you get access to that club by holding a Tipsy Turtle.
So what are all the locations that you can win? Will it be mostly Jamaica?
All right, and that's a good question. So the travel grant, right? Because it's set in stone in terms of how much you can use, like you'll be advised in terms of like based on your jurisdiction, you'll be recommended like areas to travel to that are closer. So I mean, you can say what it is that you want, but just know that wherever the money ends, that's where it ends. You'd have to find the rest of your way if you want to stay longer than, let's say, 2 nights, or you want to go to a country that's like on the other side of the world where the price of airfare would be significantly higher. But that's the general idea. It's not just Jamaica, though there is something that we're working on that's going to have like a bias towards Jamaica. So, all right. And this is like, one of like the more ambitious leg. After we do the travel grants, which is pretty straightforward, in my opinion. I know some people think it's, but it's not that complicated. Like managing treasuries on chain, people have done it before and we can do it too. But the second leg, which is a bit more ambitious, right? If you guys followed like early use cases for DAOs on Ethereum, like there's one called Constitution DAO. Have you guys ever heard of that before? Have you, Nick? All right. Basically what happened was a bunch of strangers said, hey, there's a copy of the US Constitution up for sale. Individually, we can't buy it. Let's pool some funds as strangers and see if we can collect this thing, fractionalize it and split it among ourselves. They ended up raising around, I think it was 68 million USD, don't quote me, but a lot of money for a bunch of strangers to pull together. They lost the bid, but it demonstrated that strangers can pool capital to do things IRL and manage the funds on chain in a transparent way. So we have a similar idea. There's a missed opportunity that I wish we could have jumped on, but there was a 36-acre beachfront property in Jamaica going for under 1 million USD. And I said to myself, wouldn't it be a great, because that's what people normally do with tokens. They use it inadvertently to fundraise an activity, but in not all cases, does everybody get to benefit from whatever the team is building? Some people just, use it to pay themselves. But in this example, in my mind, wouldn't it be cool if we could buy a shared experience? So it's a case where, Nick, if you hold a certain amount of the tokens, you could stay here for free. Like, wouldn't it be cool if we all pull 100 USD, 200 USD together each, and, we were to buy our own thing, something that all of us could share, whether it be free or at a discount. That will be biased towards Jamaica, but the rest of what the travel club is about is very much international. The travel grants can send you anywhere. The partners that will be onboarding to kind of pass off discounts to members will be worldwide as well. So it's not skewed to just Jamaica.
I really like that.
It's fine
now-
if it is. I would want to go to Jamaica. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I've had friends go to Jamaica. They always come back nicely tanned, looking good, you know, and like with good vibes. And so I would actually, if you could tailor the experience to Jamaica, I could maybe convince my wife to go, which would be wonderful.
Oh,
So yeah.
and I totally understand, man. And for me, I know that the travel experience, like people are very interested in what happens this side of the world. And I know, for example, now in a lot of countries, it's snowing, it's pretty cold. Right now, if you're in Jamaica, you'd be fine, man. Like you'd be on a beach somewhere sipping pina colada. So I get it. I 100% get it.
Yeah, Sammy says, do you guys know Frescoes? They've been doing NFTs and discounts or free stays for a while now.
Yeah, correct. So I do know Frescoes. What I am at a high level, what I am familiar. So the third thing that I mentioned, like, you know, discounts at merchants worldwide, I know that's their focus. For us, we're a bit more involved, or in terms of, what would I say? So their play seems to me to be, from an outsider, a travel agency play, as well as they've partnered with, you know, merchants worldwide to pass off discounts to their members. And we're not doing the travel agency side of it, but we are interested in that other thing that they're doing. But I guess where we're different, we're doing like bi-weekly or monthly travel grants, which is not something that we see, not only in the ecosystem, but anywhere, as a matter of fact. And then like beyond that, we're trying to own our own experience. So it's not a case where I, as an independent hotelier, I'm passing off discounts to you. It's a case where you can co-own property that you're free to stay at, like once you hold a certain amount of the tokens. So that's where we differ. But to answer the question directly, yes, I am familiar with Frescoes at a high level.
So if I understand correctly, you're going to own some of the places that you'll be able to give to your holders. And then
Correct.
I'm assuming maybe you'll be renting out those places to earn some of the money to be able to pass back down to holders or to continue to give this benefit.
No, spot on, Nick. So, all right, a lot of people, when they hear this idea, like their minds go to, like, you know, how is this possible? How is it workable? Not many people are intimate enough with the industry to know like a bunch of the things that makes this like not only sustainable but scalable. So most accommodation owners, right, they only sell 70% of their rooms for the year. So there are 30% of their rooms just sitting down empty, like nobody's in them. If you're willing to do like some of the coordination work, like coordinate with them to say, hey, you know, during off season, we'll either, you know, buy up a bunch of these rooms, or hey, we have a deep enough database of people interested. Just allow us to pass off those rooms as discounts to help you get them filled. So I say that to say the same thing applies to if we were to own a boutique hotel. So think of it like this, right? During off season, when nobody is there, well, not nobody, but like there's extra rooms. Wouldn't it be cool if we could coordinate where the community could get those rooms for free? But not only that, we're not only depending on, let's say, off seasons to be able to dedicate room space to the community. We're thinking like from the planning stage. Let's say we have like 10 rooms, for example, just for argument's sake. We would say, all right, we dedicate 30% of the rooms from the get-go to say, all right, holders who have a certain amount of tokens who want to stay in Jamaica for free, they can. And then to your point, the rest of the room sales makes the initiative sustainable. So think of it like if 70% of room owners know, if that's all they're selling, if they're selling 70% of their rooms and they're sustainable, then the same would apply if we were deliberate, if you follow my drift. So that's the idea. It's all possible by selling the rest of the room space to the public, right, to make it sustainable, and then, you know, allowing for that remainder to be gifted to the community to be able to use for free.
Got you. Sammy has some follow-ups as well. He said, so the people will co-own it, ? Or stay there for free if they hold enough tokens.
All right. So, and that's a good question. So it's, I guess my phraseology was in that regard a tad bit ambiguous, but with purpose or with reason. So think of it like this, right? When you think about ownership in the truest sense, like let's say you're on a legal document, that might be tricky. So instead, what's really happening is it's a utility. So you don't actually co-own it in the sense that your name is on a lease or anything like that, but you co-own it in the sense that you can make use. That's the arrangement between yourself and the DAO. You can stay there once you hold a certain amount of tokens for free. So it really depends on, like, if you get into like the deep legal part of it, like, what is true ownership. You won't be on like a lease, or you won't be on, the name of the building. The DAO will, it's its own legal entity, but you as the individual, you get to benefit from it. I hope that answers your question. You can send
Right.
a
It's just like fractionalization, right? Essentially. And so, although like you don't own it, you own, like, legality wise, a business would own it. Right. It's just like having a home, right? And then renting it out to somebody. You could technically rent it out for, thousands of people if they all want to stay in there like 1 week or like whatever, you know what I'm saying? Well, whatever fractionalization, Sammy. Anyway, but owning the NFT or whatever, yeah, it would just give you access. It would grant you access.
Yeah. So the way that I think Sammy is taking it, and maybe this is the idea that I have too, is that it's not ownership in the sense of like, I get a monthly salary from the money, but I own parts of the right to stay there whenever I win or decide to pay the excess to go, something like that.
Correct.
Okay. Because yeah, I mean, it'd be really hard to own something that is constantly changing hands. It's like I own it one day and then I sell it to Sammy tomorrow and now he owns it, and it's like that would never work.
Exactly. Precisely.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But yeah, he says, I just don't see how legally this will be easy, but it's a good / fun idea. I don't think like any of our names have to be like you said, like on it. I don't think that's illegal either. Also, being in Jamaica, I don't know the laws because Jamaican laws are definitely different from American laws. And I think that might be how Sammy is viewing this. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So, all right. And that's why, all right, we actually did quite a bit of research, got, quite a bit of legal consultation on it too. So that's why we're pretty careful about the structure. So the DAO will have a legal structure, and it already does. It's a registered limited liability company. And it's not that you own shares or anything like that. It's not like we're issuing securities, whether to locals or to internationals. The idea is for it to be a utility token. And people do this all the time. Like, businesses pass off discounts and benefits to its members. So we're not coming from it as a security. We're looking at it like as a utility token, and we're structuring everything for it to match that. So yeah, that's how I'd answer it.
Gotcha.
I mean,
and
ideally, I think one thing that would be cool though, yeah, it doesn't have to do with anything ownership or property. What I think would be cool though is if somehow somebody would figure out a way to where if he did want to buy that property that was right near the beach, right? Or on the beach, like, then taking that over and actually owning that and then kind of setting it up to where you could visit when you wanted to and stuff like that. I feel like that would be worth it as long as you get a chance to visit, right? Like, that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest stipulation is like, if you do like 1,000 ADA or 2,000 ADA, whatever it may be, then you get to stay there. Like, hotel's not booked, or the airfare is not booked or anything like that. And like, obviously it's a property, so you can like bring groceries in, other things like that. But like, as long as you can get there to be able to stay there dude, that's awesome, because I'm going to be honest with you. If you can, that's part of the reason why we don't travel so much, is because hotels are crazy,
bro. Like, you're spot on. Like, you're speaking about the problem, man. So, all right, we actually, so 19% of the world is, all right, so 19% of the world in 2022, those were the persons who traveled, right? And then, like, I think even if you're in the US, only 1 in 5, and you guys are amongst the most well-traveled persons in the world, only 1 in 5, and like one of the major expenses associated with travel is accommodation. So in our mind, and it's not like we're looking to tackle the problem holistically, but obviously certain elements don't scale. It doesn't scale for us to pay for everyone's airfare, but it does scale if we can find partners to pass off room discounts. One, it does scale if, like, to the degree that we allow for a certain number of people to participate. So, for example, right, let's say, just for argument's sake, just throwing out numbers out there, let's say we do have 10 rooms, right? And let's say we say, all right, each guest can stay for a minimum of 2 nights. Just roughly, we could accommodate, let's say, just for argument's sake, let's say 400 people, and we say, all right, look at for certain, about probably 400 to 800 people, and let's say the unique holder count for most tokens today. It's not that many people. So I mean, if we structure this correctly, and that's why you have to hold a certain amount of the token. If you hold less, you can work your way towards owning more over time. Or, like, if you just dare to speculate, to say, all right, maybe somebody else will be willing to buy this off my hands, then, like, I can understand. But if you want the utility and you want the guarantees, just buy a certain amount and you're golden.
Gotcha. And Sammy actually has a question that I had as well, which is, do you guys have the money already to buy, and is the NFT money to supplement for extra rooms, or are you starting from scratch financially?
So we don't have the money to buy, and the NFT sale isn't to go to. So, all right, to give you color, the NFT sale, while it's a membership pass to, like, the DAO, it's more so like for the token. There's going to be a fungible token sale eventually. That's what we're going to use. This is just to get us started. The NFT sale is just to get us started. To finish, like, the first leg, which is the travel grants. As I said, like, we've already fronted those monies. We spent quite a bit on development, as well as, like, the audit for content. So we put up our own money. We've won funding from Catalyst Fund 9 and Fund 10. We won funds from the Development Bank of Jamaica, and we're currently in the due diligence phase of, like, bringing on venture money. So there are monies, but it won't amount to the total that we need. Like, for this to be something that works, it will take community input, which should be the idea. But we're getting the ball rolling. So it's not a case where when you show up, there's nothing done. You're going with a team that's started off. You see foundation. Something is actually going to happen, type of an ordeal.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think, with the NFT money that you're raising, none of that is going to be used to purchase accommodations.
Right. It's not the NFT sale is not to purchase property. The fungible token sale will be. The NFT sale is to subsidize our current efforts, as well as to pay the team, because there's another leg that's going to happen. So apart from, like, managing your travel grants, we want to start doing the business development work. We've actually had, like, a few conversations already to onboard third-party partners that when they come on stream, we're able to give, let's say, opportunities worldwide from day one. So, it costs money to build, and we built probably for a year without funding. Our luck recently came, because we put in some legwork so people can say, all right, I see something happening and I see where you're trying to take it. So yeah, the initial NFT sale is not to fund the purchase of a property, but it is to fund the team to continue building.
Gotcha. Clean, did you have anything to add to this specific topic?
No, I mean, from personal experience, I'm not trying to sell anybody on anything or anything like that, but like, so I do like taking vacations every single year. Like that was my
Mhm.
promise to my family. You know, after I took like the jobs that I have now and the jobs that I worked previously, I was like, I need to take a vacation every single year with my family. Like,
I
so that's
feel
my
it.
promise. So last year we went to Alabama. Alabama, dude. Okay.
Feel
And
you.
for a week to stay at an Airbnb because hotels were kind of crazy expensive. Even at an Airbnb, it was like $2,800,
Yep. It will run that, man.
you know. And
And
so
you're preaching to the choir, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
So even if it's like a discount, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That's that can go a long way. But yeah,
Yep.
like you will need money for sure. Like either through venture capitalism or something like that. That would probably help out tremendously.
For sure.
So then it's all just about advertising and like marketing and other things like that. It's like proving to them like, hey, the need is there. We just need you to kind of like help us out with this, you know, and that's where you guys come in and talking and chatting and other things like that. So that's good.
100%, man. And
Yeah.
if you go ahead, Nick.
Oh, sorry. You can continue because I wanted to slightly change the topic, so I'll let you finish your thought.
Yeah, I was going to say that. So maybe even coming back to frescoes, right? So I know that probably they're not getting as much traction as they feel they deserve, and I'd actually agree. Because they've actually done all right. So they're very experienced. I think the owner, I think Minos is his name. He's an independent like property owner, so he has a boutique hotel on his own. And apart from that, like he's done the legwork to find partners worldwide to be able to pass off discounts to the community. So I know from a floor price standpoint, I know that they're doing well, but I know from let's say a recognition or like an uptake, probably in volume, I know probably they're saying, why hasn't the community taken to them? And I think part of it is how it's framed. So the reality, and that's one of the reasons why. So I write, I'm a hobbyist writer, and my friends are creatives. We decided to take a different approach, right? Before we get into the serious stuff, we wanted to talk to the people or reach the people like via the means that they can relate to or identify with. Like most people in the scene, like they're going for PFPs as opposed to the kind of artwork that they went with. Most persons in the scene, they're probably like leaning more toward like narrative-based plays, and then like utility second, even if they say otherwise on the timeline. So we wanted to like match the people with like how they're thinking, and then like build something expansive. And it's not like it's unrelatable. That's how Disney did it. Like it's not like I'm that's how Disney does it. So it's not like it's necessarily like a whole new playbook. It just is a different approach to maybe how they went about doing things that I'm hopeful will probably yield a different kind of result.
Yeah, for sure. So something that I thought was pretty interesting was I got introduced to the project based on your animation. And so my, initial thought is like, oh, they're going to be an animation NFT, which a lot of other NFTs have talked about maybe doing an animation. I know Clean talked about doing an animation. So I really wanted you to be here today. So I'm glad you are. And but mostly what I've been hearing is that it's going to be, this trip hut and this like, traveling around the world. So how does the animation tie in?
So, good questions. I think how we got to Tripod, and this is the most I've spoken to it publicly. So this is alpha for most of the people watching. Because what we tried to do, right? We don't want to focus so much on Tripod yet. We want that to be the big reveal. Like we're going to have like an episode that segues. So, all right, to answer your question about how it all ties in, right? If you notice, Ted and Tony are always by the beach. Like the setting, they're always by the beach drinking with, the characters from Uncle P wants the alpha. We'll drop it soon, brother. So, yeah, the characters are always by the beach. They're always drinking, and they're interacting with other people from the ecosystem that are also by the beach and drinking. So because we've not pointed that out yet, nobody's asked the question, how is it that they're always by the beach drinking? We're going to have like an episode to do like the segue. How is this possible? It's possible because of Tripod. and then bam, that's where the marketing rollout for the tripod side of things comes into play. But for right now, we're an entertainment play, and that's both from a storytelling standpoint and from like an IRL experience standpoint. So just like Disney, you get the animation first, you like the character, then we feed you an experience for you to purchase. So that's the general idea. That's how everything connects.
I like that, man. And are you the animator, or do you have somebody who animates for you?
Yeah, so it's a team. It's the core team is a team of 6, and half of us are creatives, animators. So I don't animate. What I did was I wrote the script, I directed and produced. Gashwayne is like the lead illustrator. He was the one that did like the character designing, a lot of the background design work. Alwayne is the one that did like he led the team because it was a team of us. At one point, there was probably 28 people working on the project, like all in. It was a slew of background designers, slew of character designers, slew of, let's say, voice actors. We had like 2 or 3. So it's not just like a one-man thing. It was a team. It was a team effort that really, got us to produce the 36 episodes that we've started to watch.
Gotcha. And so you've been doing this for, you said, about a year. Is that correct?
Yeah. So we've been, all right. We first had the idea because to give you guys color, I did some animations for the Dirtbirds for free just to see if the community would have liked what it is that we thought, would make sense for the natural next step for a profile picture project. And that happened a long time ago, man. Like Dirtbirds was my first PFP. So if Dirtbirds dropped November 2021, let's say that's when it happened, I probably started animating with them probably like February 2022. And when we saw the reaction, we said, there's something here. So we came up with a name, registered, locked in some of the accounts from as early as 2022. Am I even getting the timeline correct? Yes, as early as 2022. And then we never started like building and animated until towards the end of 2023. Towards the end of 2022. Right. So October 2022 was when we started a lot of the hardcore animation for Tipsy Turtle. So it's a little over a year since the first episode. The first episode aired a year and 2 months after it was written. The first episode.
Animation takes a very long time.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you want to do, what quality you want, it always takes a lot of time. Yeah. And so I definitely appreciate a good animated series. Like I had a couple ideas. I think the one idea I did have was it was a banger, man. It was
run it by me, brother.
So the idea was, okay, here we go. Strap up. Okay. Because I knew a bunch of animators in the space, like Cornelius and stuff like that, who was very like TikTok famous, Instagram famous, or whatever. And then obviously the people from Jesus too, who did like Adventure Time and the Midnight Gospel, right? If you've ever seen that through Netflix. And now he's doing an animated series, which he released a trailer for, which is great. But the idea is that so space buds are a big thing. You put them in one of your animations and stuff like that. I saw that. My favorite one was probably the Jelly Cubes one, where he's just like sitting there melting, old melty, like big melty or something. You know what I mean? That's what you should have called him or whatever. So also, if you ever need any sort of like free voiceover acting or anything like that, I can definitely do a multitude of voices, whatever you need. Pro bono, no big deal. The idea is that the space buds, Barry, right, has been gone for like a very long time.
Yeah.
And the space buds were like, oh, that's our papa. You know what I'm saying? Like we need to travel and find him. And so they would travel to all these different planets, right? And each planet they went to was a different NFT like project, right? So there would be like Dirtbirds, there would be Kongs, and they would all have their own planet with their own theme. So like for me with the Kongs, because I was balls deep into that too. The idea that I had there was like they enter this planet, you know, come streaming down or whatever, and then they see the Kongs and they're just kind of like banging on rocks and like hanging out like Kongs, you know what I'm saying? Like gorillas do and stuff. But the thing is like they give off that perception, but like they have telepathy, so they can like mind control with you and shit like that and make you do dumb stuff. And yeah, you know, there was like corn with Cornelius, you know, setting corn on fire and turning it into popcorn and other things like that, and using they're running out of gas, so they had to use like ethanol as their fuel, so they had to kill a bunch of the corn and stuff. So yeah, there was a bunch of stuff. I had storyboards written and stuff like that, and I was hoping Cornelius would help me animate it, but he kind of got married and did the lame stuff and what people do. And so
freaking people with happy lives.
Happy marriage, having a life.
Those guys.
He had to get like a 9 to 5 and stuff. And so yeah, but like I'm very, you know, big into animation. It does take a lot of work.
Yeah, a lot
you know, even with like rigging and other things like that. It's a lot. And so but it's something that like I've dedicated a portion of my life to. That and doing like different voiceovers and other things like that. I can really stretch like my vocal range a lot, which is kind of cool. But
give us a little taste. What you got?
No, I can't do it. I'm going to tell you this right now. So when I saw the jelly cubes, the first thing that I thought of was Aqua Teen Hunger Force, which was
what, sorry?
Aqua Teen Hunger Force. It's an animated series that was there. It had
You're
like
thinking of the meatball voice.
Meatball. And so I can do Meatwad very good, like very scary good. You know, so I can do a lot of different voices, stretch it pretty good. But yeah, you just let me know, reach out. I can send you some high quality audio or whatever and just record it. You can put it out if you want to, or you can just use it as a sample. I don't really care. It's up to you.
No, all right. So a couple of things, right? I'm actually happy. I find myself every time I engage with somebody about animation, I don't know, people think it's very simple. People think it's probably cheap to do. It's one of the most expensive art forms. It's very time consuming. But whenever I bring that up, like I end up arguing too much with people. So I tend not even, so even when the earlier question was posed about, you know, where the funds would go, because we're going to do a season 2. Like we don't want to just animate and stop. We want this to be something on the tail for as long as, you know, the community wants it. And it is very expensive. So I'm 100% there with you, brother. And I think next week, I think you're going to like the episodes because next week actually features, and this is Alpha, Uncle P, if you're still here, brother. Yeah, next week is going to feature Space Buds and Chill Kongs. They're actually in an episode together, and not once, but twice. And there's like a nice little Easter egg, but I won't spoil it for you in case you're like, you know, you kind of like to nerd out about, you know, creative direction, but they're going to be like a vantage point type scenario in probably 3-4 episodes down, where you get to see people that were looking on to what's happening in the episodes that come next week. So I won't say any more than that, but I loved your idea. I actually made some jottings because what we're trying to do too is that we're trying to pull ideas from the community. We actually finish writing for season 2 soon. My hope was to wrap up by, you know, January 31st, but that's not going to happen. I think I'm going to wrap up writing season 2 hopefully by mid-February. So we are still taking on ideas. I'll probably still be taking on ideas up to next week. And I made some jottings, so don't be surprised if like we probably do a little thing, you know, and shout you out like as homage to, you know, being on the show here today, man. So yeah, brother.
That's cool. I appreciate that. Yeah, and if you guys run out of creative flow, definitely I could talk to you or whatever. Maybe we come up with something pretty interesting that's quick. You know what I'm saying? I don't want animation. Like, it is very expensive, dude. Like, there are people that do 9-second reels for like thousands of dollars, dude. It can get super expensive really quick, depending on what you want. So, yeah. If you ever need some creative flow or anything like that, any ideas, feel free to hit me up. I'm always open to it. I love doing stuff like that. It kind of what gets me going, during the day.
Brother, if I'm going to open call to join the Discord, man. There's a channel called Co-Write Episodes.
Okay.
It would be good so I'll reach out regardless, because I like, working with, other people in the industry that, understand the scene and can probably, you can probably appreciate this too, brother. I am looking to figure out if there's a relationship between, so just like how you have Pokemon, like the animated series, and the relationship between Pokemon and trading cards, this is actually a live experiment to see if the animated series hits, what does that do to holders' enthusiasm about the actual NFT that comes out. So I'm always game to work with people because I want to get better. So even your offer, revoice acting. So to give you color, man, to just be direct, right? To work with voice actors overseas, because we understand that we're from the Caribbean, the vast majority of our audience, English speaking, North American, European, that type of a vibe. And even if they're not that, if they are from a different culture learning English, it would be best to work with dialects, tonologies, everything that maybe it would be easier on the ear, right? But the thing is, it's very expensive to work with, those kinds of voice actors. So we pulled from local pools, and we did subtitles to support. So I mean, you have what would I say? You have the kind of voice that's easier for most people to understand. So I'm actually interested in taking you up on your offer, helping out voice acting for season 2. So if you're a game, man, for real, I'll hit you up. Freeze the that's an excellent price, man. Yeah,
I'm in the Discord. I go as I clean up. So hit me up. We can see what we can do, and then we can go from there.
For sure, brother.
Awesome, man. I know you've been looking for a while to get into animation or some sort of animation project, Clean. So might be right up your alley.
Right. I think Jesus 2 is way too big. They have their own Hollywood actors that they are in, so if it works out, it works out. That's good. What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
For your NFT, do you know when and how many you're going to release?
All right, so the when is definitely Q1. The when exactly? All right, and I guess this is some alpha for the live, man. So we're thinking anywhere between February 25th and March 25th. It really just depends on how the next 4 weeks go in terms of marketing and community reaction. If we get the kind of reaction that we want, we'll probably find a way to say, all right, maybe not mint the entire collection, but probably mint in waves, just depending on how many people are interested. And if the best case scenario, let's say we blow up, and for us to blow up is not even thoroughly blow up. I mean, blow up is moving from, because between Discord and Twitter, we'll probably have 1,800 people. If we get to 8,600, we get to mint the collection size that we initially planned for in one go. 6,200 was what we're budgeting for. So yeah, in terms of collection size, 6,200 ideally. In terms of mint date, between February 25th and March 25th.
Gotcha. And do you have a USD price in mind, depending on what Cardano is at?
Yeah, so we played with this so many times. So we are trying to, because the market's not in the best of shape right now in terms of interest in buying new projects in particular, but there are ways to crack the code. So we're actually trying to see if we can crack the code. And again, this is alpha because we haven't released this information. So Nick, you're getting all the exclusives, man. all the exclusives. So yeah, we're looking at 37 USD, so not expensive. I don't think that works out to around 80 ADA. So I mean, we tried our best to be reasonable, and one of the reasons why we could even do it this way is because thankfully we've gotten funding from other sources. So the bulk, even just the sheer magnitude of what it would cost to animate 52 episodes, because that's what we're doing next Clean, would be very expensive. So yeah, man. So the alpha again, 37 USD, 6,200 between February 25th to March 25th.
And how soon after would you think about releasing the fungible token?
All right. We are going into audit with Anastasia Labs in February. That might take 2 months tops. We think we can be production ready, audited, like legit ship, like mainnet. I'd say May the latest, right? So I would say we want to, just like with the animated series, we want to be able to show the community that we did something. I know a lot of people like the speculative play, but I understand like we're a relatively new team, so I'd much rather just like give the community as much as possible to see that we're legit, to then like launch a token. So we are going to have like the first set of travel grants issued between May to June. Probably do like the fungible token launch probably in August. So that's what we're looking at.
I like that. That is a bit further away than I would like for like the hype cycles, but like,
It is.
I mean, but who knows? I mean, right now we are kind of at like the top of a hype cycle for crypto in general, and it went down the last few weeks, but it looks like it could be coming back, but we're still kind of just hovering. We could kind of go down for another month or two, and who knows, by August, I mean, it could be the start or even in the middle of another hype cycle. I mean, I'm bullish, and I think the rest of the crypto market's probably bullish all the way up to like 2025, maybe 2026. Bitcoin ETFs just getting passed. I mean, I don't think we have a bearish narrative in sight, to be honest, other than maybe because Jerome Powell actually has that he speaks today. I don't know if you at 2:30, I think they give at 2:00 he gives out his notes. At 2:30 he speaks.
Okay.
They do that every 2 months, and as long as he says something about dropping or cutting rates over this year, like at all, I think we're okay. But if he doesn't, and then for the rest of the year doesn't cut rates, that could lead us to a very bad situation where unemployment goes too high. And if that happens, then we could have another crash where if you've looked historically, every time we lower rates from a hype or from a raising rate cycle, every time we start to lower, the stocks actually go down in value, and Bitcoin would probably be no exception.
Yep.
But the reason is because historically we've always cut rates too late, and we've already started to see unemployment go too high. I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but basically what I'm saying is I think if we can cut rates preemptively this time, we won't be in that scenario again. So I think that could be a really good time to release. We'll have to just wait and see.
Nick, I'll actually say something to you here, man. So, all right, hype cycles, that's not necessarily like my specialty, but I massively respect it because I see where it benefits projects. So, I mean, if unadvised, man, like if I have somebody who understands like hype cycles, like in my ear, I could probably see if we could tailor the plan. So if you see, let's say, more of a chance for us to do well, let's say with an earlier mint, we're willing to compromise. I mean, we have a bit of a track record to be able to show to the community. But in my mind, from like a fundamentalist standpoint, I was thinking, all right, new team, probably best to demo what it is that we're capable of before asking for money. So I was thinking to take that route. But I mean, on advice, if you believe, based on where we are as a team and based on where the markets are at, if you believe like an earlier release for the fungible token would help us, I'd take the advice, man.
It's too hard to say when it's like a few months out. Like even if you were to release like next month or the month before, like a lot in crypto changes so fast that like right now could be a hype cycle, and then a month later you were on the decline and nobody's buying. So it would be really hard for me to say an exact time. I would do what you're gonna do. I would take your time. I would get everything right, and if the hype cycle lines up, then it lines up, and that's great. And if it doesn't, then maybe it just takes a few more months for your project to fully take off, and that's fine too. Something that's really interesting to note is that slow mints do really well, and historically we'd think that they wouldn't. Like there's not a lot of hype, nobody's minting out these NFTs, but with chilled Kongs, it was a 35 ADA mint, and they did not mint out for the first day, for the second day, and then the third day, they sold out like real quick, and then they went parabolic. So I don't think that a project necessarily needs to launch during a hype cycle, but if you do, it's just like, as far as an investor, I like to mint, I like to play tokens and all of that during the hype cycle, because my money is probably going to be there within minutes. I mint the NFT and it's already worth more than, double, right? Or triple. And that's a great feeling to have as an investor, as opposed to like, I mint this thing and now I'm down 50% already. And then, I'm just like, well, do I sell for a 50% loss, or do I just like, continue to hold another losing asset? Like, great. So it sucks at first, but if you're holding on to something that's truly valuable, it's going to find its value.
Agreed. And that's the approach that we're trying to take, in that fundamentally, I believe we have something solid. We genuinely believe we can deliver on. It's going to be obvious. We're going to be doing it in stages. It's going to be happening. It's already starting to happen. So I think we're going to have like a solid foundation. What we do want to get right, though, is, and we don't want to disrespect this leg of the market, in that we do appreciate that sentiment spreads like wildfire, and that it's to give yourself as a builder, the best shot at success is to find ways of leveraging that kind of a sentiment. So whenever people like you start talking about markets, I sit back and listen to try to see if there's anything that I can pull to kind of bring it into what we're doing, so that it's not just fundamentals, but we'll find a way to match up with what the average investor is thinking. And a lot of people they're thinking like that as well. So 100%, man.
Yeah, I think the waves is a really good idea, and because you're kind of feeling out the market as they're feeling you out. So I think you already have a good idea on how to do it. I would ignore people like me talking about hype cycles. I'm just talking, because if I'm gonna mint, I would love to mint during a hype cycle, but regardless, it could still be a good buy regardless.
100%, man.
Yeah. Also, the dangers of, I'm not saying this is you, but I'm going to let you know, Nick, specifically just for you, the dangers of meme coin season right now are pretty high, right?
Yeah.
Like, you have baby friend, baby snack, baby viper, baby whatever. That is, bro, the toppest of top signals right now is happening. Like, do not put money into coins right now. You are going to get wrecked. So the biggest thing is like, build your product, right? Know your market, and the fact that join spaces, talk about it a lot, be present. Like, even if it's kind of in the background and you only throw an emoji every now and then, people notice that you're there. And then that's what gets the talk going. And so the more you can do that, the better it is. And then, just know who you're going to market to. I mean, I can afford a good vacation. You know what I'm saying? I've worked for almost 30 years of my life. You know what I'm saying? My kids are pretty self-sufficient. I can leave them home. This can be a situation where I could go for a weekend, with my wife to go do something. We have our passports. We have everything already. We don't have to worry about a single thing. And then, just know who you're kind of marketing to and who you want to be with. Coin, probably go for that younger generation, right? We love coins, I'm still young. Hey, I'm still young. All right.
Got you, Clean. Got you.
But Nick's young, right? He loves playing coins. That's his shit.
I love coins. I love coins, bro.
I can hear it, brother. I can hear it.
Bro, the last coin I played, shout outs to Galactic Cats and Son of a Bitcoin. Nova launched, bro. Dude, Nova was so good. I had to go to work, and on my way to work, they launched the coin, and I called my brother, and it was probably 10 a.m. And I was like, hey, man, are you awake? And he was like, I am now. And I was like, all right, bro. It's 10 a.m. Get the hell up and go buy me some Nova tokens, damn it. And he was just like, all right, but next time you're missing these coins. And I was like, no, I will never miss these coins. Buy me some Nova. And so he went downstairs. He threw in some money that I told him to throw in, and 2.5x, baby.
Oh, nice.
It's just knowing your energy, right? Like, so if you're talking vacation, the island vibes, I mean, you guys specialize in that shit, right?
Yeah, man.
Like,
100%.
that's what it's all about. Chilling, having a fucking drink,
Yeah.
relaxing. This is the getaway you need. Then with coins, it's 100% hype. Like, this shit's going parabolic next week. The reason being is because of this, this, and this, and this.
Yeah.
Partner with people, like, get your name out, do your thing,
100%.
Actually,
yeah, just do your thing, man.
you're talking about that, it made me think. So you said you need to hold a certain amount of NFTs or tokens, right, to get the benefits. What is like? Is there a mixture? Like, could I own 2 NFTs instead of 5 because I hold more tokens, and vice versa?
All right. So all right, one NFT is enough to have access to
The DAO.
right.
Right.
Holding an amount of fungible tokens is what gets you access to a free, because you'll always get a discount no matter how much you hold. But if you hold a certain amount, that's what gives you a free space, like at the DAO owned property. So I hope that answers the question. But I mean, the more NFTs you own, the better, because you're voting. The weighting of the votes is dependent on the amount of tokens you hold. So I mean, if you have one token, you have one vote. If you have several tokens, you have more of a vote. So it's an incentive to buy more or to accumulate. So I mean, yeah, that's the added benefit that you get with having more tokens. The more tokens, the more votes. You can vote to say send Clean on his vacation with his wife. That's it. Plugging you from right now, buddy. Yeah, man. So, and then apart from that, if you hold like a certain amount of fungible tokens, as I said, like you get the room for free. No added cost or what have you.
Gotcha. And do you already have any art sneak peeks of what the NFTs will look like?
Oh, for sure, brother. I can actually, 1 second, send this to you right now. We actually released a sneaks a good while back, because we realized, I don't know what happened, brother, but when we made our first couple tweets, and nothing was behind it, we just did a teaser, had a couple of our friends said, hey, we're actually launching the thing that we've been talking to you for so long about. So we were expecting like a certain amount of favorites, certain amount of retweets. It blew up out of nowhere. So we said, you know what? Let's see if we can ride this baby, push out as much content as possible. So we released sneaks pretty early. Let me see if I can just pull that up for you real quick. Give me a second. And we said that, all right, let's see, what the early, to kind of inform if there's anything that we need to work on, because we're doing a final rerun. Well, let me not say final, but this is what we're thinking will be the final rerun next week. Some early alpha for you again, brother. I hope not too many people are on right now, but we're actually we're working with Saturn, Nick. So we actually seeing if we can do a rerun with him, because there's some things that we want to ensure we optimize for, so that we can have as smooth a mint as possible, with as minimal surface area for anybody pulling a fast one, re-exploits and so on. So we're trying to lock in the metadata as early, so we're not scrambling closer to the time, and we're trying to do follow best practices. So before our artist and our dev does the rerun, we want to meet with him just to ensure that we've structured things correctly. So yeah, man, more alpha for you. I wasn't supposed to announce that.
I appreciate it, man. Any alpha you want to release, I'm here for it.
Yeah, well. I know you're good peoples, and based on our own conversations, I'm thinking that there's a lot of ways that you and I can work together long term. So I don't mind this being what would I say, the budding of something bigger, if you follow my drift.
Yeah,
I got you.
Let me send this to you. I have you on Discord right here. I'm about to send you the DM of it, brother, so you can look out for it.
Cool. And this is recorded as well, so people can watch this if they haven't watched it, if you want to link it in your Discord or whatever.
All right, for sure, brother.
Don't do that. I see my ugly mug. Who wants to see this face? So yeah, all I need, bro,
Okay.
all I need is a discount on a night, bro. That's it, and I'm there.
Gotcha. Locked
Nice,
in.
cool.
So there's a bunch that you can probably even toggle. There's a bunch that I know so those are some of the early looks. Those are not one of ones. Those are effectively floor NFTs.
Right.
Yeah.
Got the scruff hanging out.
Is this samurai armor? Like Ninja
Yeah,
Turtle armor?
Yeah, it's Knight's armor.
It's Knight's
Oh,
armor.
okay.
Yeah.
Stormtrooper.
Yeah, Stormtrooper, spot on. And then like if you toggle down, because we had like a second post right there.
Let me see. Here we go.
There you are. Yeah, that's another floor.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's from the generative. Same
Like
here.
that.
Yeah, so he's a dad. Scroll across. Now we're entering like one of one territory.
This is the queen.
Yeah, for the ladies, we have to ensure that we try to not many female traits, but we said, you know what, let's actually see if we can get some of the ladies right in the one of one segment.
I like how this eye is like just slightly over to the left, like she's a little tipsy.
Yeah.
Even the queen.
Exactly. Even the queen.
And then a Halloween one.
This is one of the one-on-ones. Right. Spot on.
Will there be any benefits for drop me the alpha? That for the maybe Halloween NFTs get higher percentage chances during October. Anything like that?
So so for the one-on-ones they carry, and man, you're really pulling out a lot of alpha here, man. So all right, let's natively, let's say the collection gets you, let's say, a 20%, 30% discount at accommodations worldwide. The one of ones will carry like twice that. So you're talking like 50-60% off, that kind of a thing. So yeah, man, there's benefit to hodling a one of one. And as a matter of fact, this is not cemented. What we said before is cemented. Like the one of ones will carry like higher weighting in terms of discounts. But we were thinking about having it be the case where everyone who holds a one of one, every wallet that holds a one of one is eligible for like a raffle that gets them a fully paid for vacation. So it might land on you, it might not. But that's one of the things that we were talking about internally to say, hey, this might be something cool that we'd be able to afford to be able to give like additional benefits to holders of the one of ones.
That's awesome, man. I like it. There's a lot of thought that goes into this. When I saw the animation, I was like, oh, cool. Like another PFP, they're just going to keep making animation. As long as the animation keeps rolling out, I'll hold on to the PFP and, we'll just keep riding it. And then, Clean brought up the whole Trip Hut thing. I saw your trailer and I completely just ignored all of the names that on that little push board.
It's the little things, Nick, you have to recognize.
Yep.
What on?
Well, that's awesome, man.
So,
do you have any things that you wanted to share that I didn't ask you or we didn't talk about yet?
I'd probably say this, right? Tomorrow or Friday is when we drop episode 13, so you can look out for it. We release the poster for it tomorrow. But it's significant because we actually secured a sponsor, right from the ecosystem. Some friendly guys, wink, wink. So the hope is to make that announcement and actually have like a sponsored message at the end of episode 13. So look out for that. A couple of Easter eggs there. I think these set of guys, they have something going for them that I think is needed in the space. They found a way to galvanize a lot of people to do a lot of work for them. And when you think about communities in the space, the amount of work that I saw that particular community do, despite, maybe some would argue, look, the projects look slow effort, that kind of a thing. But I mean, they've done something right. And like, I have the utmost of respect for it. And they've turned it into something magical in that they've done a lot of building with the blessing that they've gotten. So I'm very hopeful. I'm thinking they're going to be the ones to kind of help us, like push us to the next level. So look out for our first sponsor this Friday.
Nice.
Hell yeah. I appreciate you for coming on, man. Clean, was there anything you wanted to ask or say before we wrap it up?
No, I'm pretty good. I just got to go pick up my daughter. So that's why, I got to cut things short today. I'm sorry, but
no worries.
No, I think an hour is usually pretty good. Anything above that, I'm just kind of grasping at straws unless it's like super in depth, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I appreciate you for coming on, Jamie. This has been awesome. I look forward to what's going to come out on Friday and everything else.
Thank you, brother. Thank you guys for having me. Clean Nick. We will talk again, sirs.
Yeah, I'll be in contact.
Yes, sir.
I'm in your Discord and everything like that, so don't feel bad if you reach out, man.
All right, guys. Well, as always, remember to get outside, see your family, see your friends. We're here to make more money so that we can spend more time with them. Until next time, guys. Peace.
Peace.
And ended.